Bernie Sanders of Vermont joins us tonight. Senator, your thoughts on what you're hearing from the Senate well today and the outcome of changing the rules?
I think Senator Reid did exactly the right thing. As he indicated throughout the course of our nation's history, when a president makes a nomination for the judiciary, a nomination for his administration, almost always that goes through, and it goes through in a reasonable period of time. What the Republicans have done with Chuck Hagel, with other members of the administration, what they have done with the judiciary, we now have 3 nominees, well-qualified nominees for the D.C. Court of Appeals, a very important court, and they are obstructing. So I think what Senator Reid said today, listen, we've had rules, unwritten rules, for decades and decades and decades. You guys have broken those rules. You are obstructing. We have got to move forward. This country is in trouble. The American people deserve action.
Well, what are the Republicans, whether Republicans or Democrats, it's in the Constitution, the Senate is supposed to advise and consent. And all of us, they stopped doing that. They stopped doing that because of the obstruction that was put up there by the Republicans. So do you think that they would retaliate back if they were to ever to get the majority? I mean, is this really dangerous territory for the Senate?
Look, would they retaliate back? Of course they would. And let me just be very honest with you, Ed. This country today faces a series of problems which are unprecedented in the modern history of this country, and that is the collapse of the middle class, high unemployment, the growing gap between the rich and the poor, health care, etc. Time after time, this is above and beyond the judiciary nominations. Time and time again, we have passed, with over 50 votes, decent legislation which would protect the middle class of this country. We cannot get the 60 votes because now what the Republicans are doing, again in an unprecedented way, is filibustering everything. It used to be the exception to the rule. Now it is the rule. So what has happened since Obama has been president is these guys, the Republicans, have really changed the rules. And now what Reid and the Democrats have done is said, okay, you changed the rules. Now we have got to respond and let this Senate begin to be a little bit functional.
What would our country look like right now if the filibuster rules were changed all the way across the board, not just limited to judicial nominees and executive appointments? I mean, what if it covered the legislative? Would we have a jobs package? Would we have,
right, we would. You would. Okay. This is what you would have. What you should understand, and your viewers should understand. People are worried about the high cost of college education. We passed legislation with over 50 votes to protect and make sure that college loans continue to be affordable. People are worried about gender inequality. We passed legislation to protect women against discrimination in the job place. People are worried about the great crisis of jobs. We passed a jobs bill. People are worried about outsourcing of jobs. We passed legislation with majority votes that would help us in that direction.
They're holding up America.
They are holding up America. They have made the Senate, I think it is fair to say that the Senate today is as dysfunctional and as unproductive as any Senate in the history of the United States of America, coming at a time when this country faces so many crises. So if the Republicans have broken the rules, the gentleman's agreement that existed, that they will only use the filibuster under extraordinary circumstances, that's gone. Filibuster is now done virtually every single day. The Democrats have responded. In my view, they have got to go further. We need to pass a minimum wage bill. And if we don't have 60 votes and we only have 55 votes, we should pass it with 55 votes. We need to deal with the fact that unemployment is much too high and pass a real jobs bill, rebuilding our infrastructure. We can't get 60 votes to do that. We should do that with a majority. So my suggestion to Senator Reid is go further. Majority rule should work in the Senate. Yeah. I have no doubts that if the Republicans would gain control of the Senate, that is exactly what they would do.
Senator Bernie Sanders, great to have you on the Ed Show tonight, sir. Thank you so much.